Alright, I'm gonna start this tournament soon. Or soon, be like now. No matches, matches. We'll run first to 3. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's have a look who's the first ones. We got Punchy vs Floof. Okay. Cool. Finish up the pass. We got everyone's favorite new Elton player, Punchy, versus I suppose everyone's favorite new VAT player. I feel like there are more than one VAT player. No, I think there's more than one Elton player, I suppose. So maybe that's too unfair. Alright, we got a new color this time. I don't know who this is meant to be a reference to. There's some gotcha character. I'm still not sure what that's a reference to. Maybe it's Christmas. That makes sense. That would make sense. Yeah. They don't have a Christmas skin thing, so not too fussed. Where's our Booth? Wonder where they're at. They were here last time, so we'll see. When I pinged them 2 minutes ago. There's Christmas colors, yeah. That's true. I suppose you probably couldn't get another hair color, I guess. I suppose white is okay, because it's like Santa hat. Hello. I don't think... Who's in the bracket? Yeah. What have we got? Why weren't you a YSB, by the way? They'll call you out on twitch.tv. Hanging out with Bronk until he had to go to dinner with his parents. I was like, you're gonna have to go back for dinner? We have a 9 to 5? Yeah, but that's like Monday to Friday though. Congrats, by the way. But that's like Monday to Friday though. Saturday is not. You see? Different. Playing other games as well? You missed out on talking to Bronk though. There was some good chat. We need you to go and then convince Bryce to go, and then maybe we can run a melty bracket. And then like 2 random people will join the melty bracket. And then That'd be fun. Maybe. Alright, it's time to figure out where Floof is. Okay, don't you do it for me? If they don't respond, we might just run a different match. The beauty of round robin is that I can just choose not to run the Floof matches until later. So they respond very soon. We'll just run Joker main versus Arctor. And then we'll just skip all the Floof matches until they respond, and then they can be like, they can run the gauntlet. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Waiting on response from Floof. Right. There we go. Okay. Cool. Let's go to the game. Skipping that intro. Ask Assault JC round start. Well, it's technically Jump Assault JC. Nice mash, that is. Actually, I think you should mash 5A. Because it's 6 frames, it's minus 6. That player. Alright, got some zoning going on. Don't you actually manage to shield the last hit of Assault JC, which actually makes it minus. But I think if I were a new player, I probably wouldn't recommend trying to do that because it's a bit too difficult. Like even experienced players don't do it that much, and as you can see, you just get grid break thrown if you get the timing wrong. So JC is definitely the button of our time. But yeah. Okay, I do think it's pretty important to get the timing down on the 2d6c reload, because it makes everything easier if you can do that. Alright, we got some 6B action. Fortunately, I think that combo is too paraded there, so... Yeah, okay. Some shenanigans. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the combo, so Floof will be able to continue the combo in a red speed. But the random... You're never going to shield the last hit JC? Yeah. It's you get a feeling for it, but like, the thing is you can fish for it a bit. So as long as you're shielding early, you can just like recognize that you're trying to shield it, and then when you get the shield, then you mash, and the Vat player is never ready to not like be greedy as hell after JC, so they just lose, pretty much. But it is important to remember that it has to be assault from the ground. It can't be assault from the air. If it's assault from the air, it's still plus. I don't know, like, ask Hermione why that is, because it's stupid. Alright. Floof taking a first win. Game win, doing some Vat things. Okay, classic. Yeah. Alright, yeah. Just getting a lot of mileage out of his JC, as I think every VAT player does. That was a very brave match, but it worked out. I think sometimes you do have to give it, you do have to do it to them, right? Because otherwise the VAT players, they just like do whatever they want after JC. But yeah. Alright, we got some good like zoning patterns going on. And there is definitely something to be said for like just pressing JC at the right time, you know? Even if when you only have a hammer, everything has a nail. I think the Punchy could have killed if they went into 63C, but they didn't recognize it. Yeah. In that scenario, even if you green shield the last, even if you shield the last hit of JC, you still are minus. So it's probably not worth going for it. You ideally, like, I think the best way to do it is to try and shield the second hit primarily, and then sometimes do it a bit late, so then you get the third hit sometimes. That's I think how I do it really. Okay. And yeah, definitely 2B's not really the button to press after shielding it, I think I would say. You want to press like your fastest button. Oh, JC winning the trade. Okay. Nice 66B. Unfortunately drops the combo, but yeah. I think going in there is actually a mistake. Because you had such a big life lead that like basically any projectile hit would win you the basically any projectile hit would win you the round. So you just have to just sit there and just chill out. And especially because the cycle's coming up, so like I suppose you could argue that you should be aggressive before the cycle comes up, but I think it's just safer to be, you know. Okay, got some zoning. That is plus. Okay, nice 6C. Yeah, there's a ground bounce there from the 6C, so you can do 2 reps. Unless you do dash 2C. Okay, nice DP. Okay, we got some jumping around and jumping around. Gotta do some push-ups. I think Floof is getting a little bit too greedy after the JC. I think they should just do like JC 5A, because Punchy is mashing a lot after JC. Like, in that spot, if they just pressed 5A, they would have won. Okay, nice. That relatively low health, so IW wins the round. Okay. The FF, which is the finger guns, is minus on block. For some reason, they made 5FF only like -3. So it's not that minus, but you should still be able to just mash after it. Just press like 2B. Okay, nice flash kick through the cancel. Okay, running behind the wall. You gotta be teching these gold turrets. Okay, nice. Protect it this time. I wonder if sometimes Punchy could just... Yeah, I think that you should just bait a flash kick every now and again. I think that's what Punchy should do. Especially when they're so consistent about going for it. Just like sit there and bait it. Alright. More assault. Oh, you missed out because Floof was at YSP as well, because they're on New South Wales. That was fun. We had the Floof vs Saf match. See, these are more things you miss out for not going to YSP. Of course, we're not talking about anyone in particular who didn't go to YSP, but like just in case you didn't go to YSP, these are the things you missed out on. As well as a flash kick starter. Okay. Okay, the interesting with the reverse hitbox assault, the GP. Okay, we've got some. Then of course you missed a bit. Yeah, exactly. I didn't really watch it. I was too busy like finding random KOF players, but you know how it is. All right, Floof takes it 3-0. It's finito. All right, we're gonna Joe Kameen versus Arctos. Talking about random KOF players. I actually don't know if Joe Kameen plays KOF. The Tony started at freaking 6 p.m. What? It started at 2:30. Uni did. Tekken might have started at 6. What timetable are you reading? Yeah. Nothing started at 6. Bro just imagining things. Yeah, but like it doesn't matter until the schedule is finalized, so until the schedule is finalized, it's just a random time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Fake YSB fan. SMH. Alright, we got Octor coming up. We got the second best Queensland Wagner, I think. Actually, I don't know. I assume that Tone Blowing does better, but I have no idea actually. I've never really seen Tone Blowing play because they don't play online. At least they don't play online against me. And they don't enter the tourneys. So like, you know, Tone beats me. Yeah. Alright, second best Queensland Wagner. Yeah. I think they're kind of cooking, I think. I think Arctor's kind of cooking at the moment. They need to probably tighten up their play a bit. But you could say that's the same thing about basically everyone in the tournament, because it is a newbie tournament. And just like, I think that's my general impression from playing against them. And they play online, which is good. I like people in that play. Joe Kameen. I think Joe Kameen's just sort of casually playing it a bit, just like he casually plays like every fighting game. We're playing Kuon. Pressing some buttons. Nice smash. Joe Kameen and Carol the Bam Furious. Yeah, I know. Don't think I don't know. Yeah, okay, good throw. I can't remember whether it had shield buff or not actually. So you might just be able to mash, but I think Joe Kameen not quite up to scratch in all the combos. I'm not sure about 6B CS. Okay, good. Because 6B CS doesn't really accomplish anything. They're just going into 6B like 2A with wouldn't. I think Joe Kameen must have messed up his CS. Yeah. So I would say, like either commit to the DP if you're going for like DP CS, or like 2-on-4A. Joe Kameen shields the assault, but doesn't punish. Does get a 3C in neutral. I think he's playing like Akiha Kuon. Okay. Recognize the... So the 3C, which is like the slide, is pretty... It's like decently minus unless it's very spaced. And I'm pretty sure it's always minus on shield. Okay, we go for can we... Guys, I know that, like, every Australian player is a gambling addict, but, like, you know, just go for the SDP, guys. It doesn't even do good damage this version thing, right? So like last version when it did 4k off of like a DPCS starter, you'd be like, okay. Yeah, I think that Arctor is shielding a bit too much, and that's costing them punishes on stuff like 3C when they're like shielding 3C and then keeping on shielding. Whereas really, if you're trying to win grid, you should only be shielding only a couple of different things. And if you're trying to punish specific things, then you should only be shielding once. So like, you just gotta be really careful. Because he can't cancel into specials off of 3C, he can only cancel into supers, I think. So you can only cancel into EX. Okay. But the Wagner combos unfortunately matches a 6C, I think. Got the sword off combos. Nice, footsies. This is how Wagner players will say gap. Unfortunately, the EX and the Nox joking me out of the corner. I think that you would generally not... Well, I know that you would generally not want that to happen. Because you don't want to give up your corner positioning, which is where Wagner is at his strongest. I think that 2d6 AA, J2d6C works as a corner ender. I'm not like particularly great at Wagner combo theory. I think that would definitely work with sword buff. Yeah. Again, like, I think that defending IW here, especially not getting both buffs, because then you have no resources. I know that Wagner doesn't really necessarily need meter that much. It's still helpful, because then you can cancel into 2DC, get your buffs and be plus. Okay, 60B through the 260 doesn't recognize the interaction. Okay. Has Arcus used it yet? I don't think so. But they're getting a lot of mileage out of just sort of playing the game, so... Alright. Yeah. I know 2DC is kind of... So when I'm playing Wagner, I'm just like playing my honest like footsies. I'm doing my spacing traps and I'm like, wait. I can just be plus whenever I want. I just remember suddenly. And then I go for 2DC. It's the problem with playing characters like Ori. I'm not used to having like EX. EX specials that are plus. You can decide to be plus whenever you want. Okay. We're going for a bit of a jump. I think you kind of do have to jump a bit against Kuon. So like, yeah, you kind of want to jump in a forwards direction. You don't want to jump in a backwards direction. Okay. Goes to Veil off on wake up. I think Joker Main is missing some of the load stuff. And also blocking overhead is kind of important against this character. By the way, the transfer state is why he didn't get group breaking. It's a minor thing. This is 2-0, right? Yeah. Yeah, good punish. I think that actually you can get a much bigger punish off of off of the 2d6 AA with no shield buff. No sword buff, sorry. It's pretty bad. Yeah. The 2d60. See, that one is... No, that one's 2d60, yeah. Yeah, Joker kind of playing just like Zona Coolin, which is like pretty decent until people figure out how to get around the needles and the 3C. And then it becomes not quite so good. Because you really do kind of need like the consistent wheel setups and the consistent float stuff for this character to really get his true potential, I think. Alright. Go for combo. No, I think IW probably killed, but Arctor didn't block on wake up. So I think that when the Kuon player is kind of got the stuff down, you do kind of have to block against Kuon on wake up. You don't really have a lot of good options to disrespect his stuff. Sometimes he goes for fake. It's not really fake, but like sends the wheel up. And then you might want to mash, but I don't think you ever really want to DP against Kuon. So you generally probably just want to block. Okay, there's your 2DC. But I think because there were no buffs... so in that scenario, Arctor could actually have CS'd after the IC throw with the shield buff, and not sword buff, and then get a full combo. I think Redblade does that all the time. Should probably just copy whatever Redblade does. It's probably the good combo. Yeah, definitely Redblade is like up at 3k. His opponents are at about 3k life, and he has sword buff and CS. It's like yes, yes, right now. I got some zoning. Unfortunately, goes for the mid-screen route in the corner, which is what causes the cross-up. Or the side switch. Manages to get some hits, so bringing it back. Is on match point, but unfortunately, Dokkaman shields low against ICFF. I think that activated before the shield buff armor went through. This is crazy how to get to both buffs. In a combo? I think that's pretty crazy. So I think that he's trying to do, it does look cool. Yeah. I think that he's trying to do like the FF2AB. But FF Smart Steer End is really bad. I would not do it. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen anyone intentionally frame trap. I was thinking about this. I don't think I've seen anyone intentionally frame trap with Smart Steering. I don't think it's even very good. But I could be wrong. Let's run Rosita vs. You can't EX cancel. You can't CS. You have to CS. Yeah. Where'd you go? Yeah. The Christmas out. All right. The Londrekia. The Wreckers. Missed out on the Londrekia player. Actually, I think I don't know how much we see to play. I feel like a decent chunk of this bracket is New South Wales. By a decent chunk, I mean like 2 people. No, 3 people. It's like half. I've never seen force function trade. That's very funny. Nice punish. That's like -17 on the 3rd wrecker. So But I suppose... Oh, God. Yeah, the... Nice punish. The force function has a second hit that always comes out. So, you can't... Ooh, unfortunately Receded doesn't get the grid break. I got the 4C, let's go. It's 4C turns. That looks like an FPS drop. Yeah, so that one only comes out after 4C, which is the he steps back and sends out some ice. So that's the only time you have to block high. For the ice block from the ceiling. See, there's like not... So one thing about specifically Londrekia is that his force function is not throw involved. So you can actually throw meaty. Well, not meaty, obviously, but throw on their wake up, nice shield, and then get a punish on the GP attack, which is kind of nice. Although, if they start mashing, you still die. Because you have to throw later and then mash will come out. Okay, good. Punchy recognizing that the... I think there's a kill angle if they went for CVO, but unfortunately I don't think Punchy knows any CVO routes. Yeah, I think they're definitely... To be fair, I think that CVO routes are kind of hard. Maybe I just don't know any good ones. The ones I remember are pretty hard. Actually, no. Like, it's really simple one would just be 63C IWEX. So 63C IW would be really simple and easy. It's just sometimes if you want to do like the 200 meter 30% HP, the one I learned, which is like 421C, 63C, JC 63C, the timing to get IWEX is really like inconsistent, I think. So yeah, okay. That scenario after the A rocket's pretty strong. Set up the ice flower. Oh, you're almost in. Yeah, Punchy, we gotta block the DP. They do keep doing it every time. Okay, so one thing that's kind of important about Londrekia is that, well, it's not really kind of important, it's that he's one of the characters with a 2-hit JC, so you have to shield the second hit to get a proper punish. Unfortunately, Londrekia's JC, the first hit can be cancelled for 3B whiff, which if you try and green shield the second hit, you get punished. And also, for some godforsaken reason, Icy JC 3B whiff is +2 on block. So you actually can't mash if they do that, which is really dumb. What are we doing? Is first to 3. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think Rosita's kind of just doing like the strong Londrekia stuff, which is kind of what you should do in these tournaments, I think. And there are some like small like matchup things, which Rosita's not, which Punchy's not quite taking advantage of. And also just not going to block their records. Although we're doing pretty well at blocking records. Nice. Okay, hesitated a bit on the combo, because you can combo off that with 2C. I think sometimes, I think which might be nice, is is to try and air throw as Eltman. I don't know if it can actually be done in those scenarios, but it's pretty nice if you can, if they're in the air. Because you get a proper combo if you air throw. unfortunately in the freeze state and got hit by fireballs, so that could have been a full combo into Oki. Yeah. This should be guess for game. I think Rashida pushed Punchy too far up for it to actually be a guess, but in theory that's a guess. Alright, match point for Rashida. Alright. Okay. Got some little footsies going on. Back on the gold through. We went for delayed FF. The FF mix up. Okay. Yeah, I think Punch is just struggling to really get into the position where Altman's really strong. So it's like, yeah. So Rasia's just kind of doing the strong Lon things. Kind of good strat, especially with Lon. You got a lot of strong things. And then, yeah. Just missing maybe a bit of matchup knowledge. Or a bit of like just being able to enforce. That's one of the things which is kind of tricky about Elton, is that you don't have necessarily a lot of for a new player, is that you don't necessarily have a lot of like really strong obvious things like Gondreki has. So yeah. Alright, we're ready for match. Blue first Dokkaeman, this is like the Zona v Zona. The flash kick off, the flash kick off, that's true. If that were cool on flash kick would have worked. Alright. Get some Oki going on. I think that Oki was fake, but I'm not sure. Okay, base the DP successfully. Drops the combo, unfortunately. So Dokkaeman, I think, doesn't know that that's actually, in that scenario, any air normal is air unblockable. So they could have just pressed like 4C and gotten the full combo. Alright, some honest footsies. Oh my god. Okay, 2d6Cs through the gem attempt. Flick goes to A flash kick on wake up with no meter. I do not recommend that strategy. And Dokkaeman eventually takes the win. Alright. I think this thing which is kind of interesting about these matches, which is kind of true about the last one as well, is that you see a lot of like people just kind of make mistakes, which makes a lot of sense, right? But then the other player's not really punishing them for mistakes. So there are lots of like little opportunities where like a player will whiff a move in neutral and then the other player doesn't react fast enough because maybe they're not ready for the whiff or they don't really know the spacing very well. So that means that the other player just kind of gets away with it for free. Whereas you could probably get pretty good at just like punishing people for doing dumb stuff. Or just making mistakes. Like that was another scenario where Dokkaeman could have air unblockable, but didn't. Okay, this time goes for B flash kick on wake up. Unfortunately, I suppose that wait no, actually I forgot that 2C exists, never mind. I was about to say that Kuon has trouble anti-airing, and then I remember that was a stupid statement. Yeah, 2C is really good. It's not as good as a high 3C, but it's pretty good. Alright, flash kick. Okay. Got some gaming. It kind of gets a little mesh out. Unfortunately, doesn't quite convert to CVO, which probably would kill it. Yeah. 2 to B, 2, well, that was 2 to B. Strikes. Yeah, some funny stuff you can do. I suppose the VAT players are normally like, the flip is generally in the air most of the time, so I feel like you shouldn't have that much trouble with Needle. I mean, maybe you do, because it kind of stops you from being laser. But if you just want to assault Jesse all the time and have a good time, then you're probably not that unhappy. Okay, nice confirm. Fortunately, missing the combo. Alright, we got some nice pressure. Fortunately, managed to space out side B and base throw. Completes the combo. Oh, I commentator curse. If they had completed the combo, it would have killed. And Flip also gets the shield on 3C, but doesn't. But like, Kuon had no meter, so actually that was a straight up punish opportunity there. So really, like, Jokerman should not really get away with 3C and neutral that much, except if it's like 3C into 2d6C. Oh my god, please stop. Like, was that worth? Spend all my resources for 4.2? I assume Jokerman messed up a flash kick. Alright, we get the 1-1. Jokerman. I think Jokerman kind of needs to slow down a little bit. And just like, you can probably get pretty well at just trying to stop. Thanks for the follow. You see that? I think you can probably get pretty well by just like trying to stop Blue from like jumping at you. And just like throwing out some needles. I think that's what I would do. And I think Jokerman's kind of doing alright. They just need to, they sometimes just take a lot of risks, I think. They don't need to. And also they're missing some combos off stuff like 2d6 AA, which is kind of important to know combo off of. But I think that they're pretty new, so it makes a lot of sense that they're missing combos. So that sort of thing where like they go for the needle is like this. I know we like to meme about the bat players doing the like air assault JC, but against Kuon, that sort of air approach is not that bad. It's actually even good if you do it at the right time, because his needle doesn't cover the air very well. You just have to be really careful and just do a bit of labbing and practice against like the bot doing 2d6 AA and 2d6 BB and see what you can do. Fortunately, Fluke dropping a lot of combos. I think the kind of tricky links there. Wow. Yeah. Kind of tricky. Goes for the IW. I think that after IW you should probably try and... I think Staff generally sets up a orb, like a able or a jam or something. I think it's probably a pretty good strat. Because you have quite a lot of plus frames you can do something with. Yeah. Okay. Some zoning. Someone managed to get on the other side of Kuon. Doesn't quite finish the combo. Alright. I don't know what Jokerman tried to do there. Catches the backdash. You should get probably a kill here. I think that if they did a more optimized combo, they would have a kill. Or just finish the combo, that would have helped as well. But Leaf manages to take it with a flash kick. Alright. Got some gaming going on. Got some flash kicking going on. Life is good. Catches the shield on wake up. Generally shield on wake up is just like not a very good option because Like, people aren't gonna do punishable stuff on wake up usually, and you don't have like any idea that they will meter you or not. And it's really easy to, like, if you're like just like beta DP and see your opponent shield on wake up and just like throw them. So the only time you really want to shield on wake up is if you're trying to win the cycle, like the cycle's about to tick over and you're behind, but one shield will win you the cycle, then that's probably a good time to shield on wake up. But you don't want to do it all the time because then they will bait it as well. So that gets a bit of bad. Alright, we got some zoning. Fortunately, Joker Man hits Floof out of the export stuff, so they lose the meter and also the projectile. Absolutely nothing. I didn't actually think that it stole the meter until the X flash, so that's a bit surprising. Okay, 66B. I think Joker must have pressed 236B rather than 236A. Because I don't really know why 66B would win there. Okay, good punish. Got some comboing going on. Alright. Nice. Yeah, I actually don't know what that should do about the air stuff. Maybe you just try and B-laser them, but I suppose that the air needles are pretty scary as well. So you can't really get the forward charge. Maybe you just have the dash block like everyone else. Alright. 3C, the flash kick. And one laser will take the finish. We'll take the win. Alright. That was pretty close from Goku Man. I think they probably just don't really know a lot about Batista. Let's have Octo versus Flute one. That sounds fun. Octo versus Flute. There we go. Nice. There we go. Okay. I think that Octo must have tried to anti-air though. Yeah, it's pretty tricky to anti-air JC. Okay. Some zoning. I think this matchup is fairly straightforward. Zone v rushdown matchup. Like, Wagner just trying to get in. Batista trying to not let her get in. You know, the usual. With the slight twist that once shield buff comes out, Batista has to be really scared. Because I don't think that Batista can really deal with shield buff very well. Like, once you get shield buff up, like, you just do it whenever you want, yeah, like that. It's kind of important to get the full combo off it though, because it's pretty risky for Octo to set up shield buff, because you can just get lasered. So, you have to make sure it counts. And I think one thing, the X thing, I think that if you're trying to chew on 4C as the Wagner player, you probably want to try and do it on reaction to a able. Theoretically, if the VAT player is a gamer, they can cancel into C flash kick, but I don't think anyone in OCE is gamer enough to do that. I think you need to get Fox off to do that, because I think it looks pretty hard. Okay, Blue takes the win. Yeah, it's pretty important to take the gold through, I would say. I would also probably say, like, if you're gonna have all those plus frames, you may as well do something with the plus frames, I guess. because you have to wait so long to be able to throw them after JC. You may as well just do anything else. Kind of misses the confirm off the 2C trade. I assume it's kind of tricky. Yeah. This is a good example of why sometimes you do need to mash after the Assault JC, even if the VAP player is boss, because VAP players like doing like crazy stuff after Assault JC, so you just have to keep them honest sometimes. Yeah, I think another thing, I think that well, first of all, I would not recommend flash kicking once Wagner has shield buff. But I think that for like Arctor, I think you probably want to be really careful doing a 2DC ender if you don't have a buff, because then they can air tag away from you, and you really want to take advantage of the corner positioning when you have it as Wagner, especially in this sort of a matchup when you don't win neutral at all. So you ideally want to play as little neutral as possible, which is kind of what Wagner players want to do anyway. But like, you ideally want to play as little neutral as possible. So if you like willingly give away an opportunity to not play neutral, then it's kind of a mistake, I think. All right. Fortunately, didn't have shield buff, so can't go through 5B, even though it's object property, I think, but. Need to be projectile property. Alright. Who takes the win? 2-0? I assume because I think Jay doesn't show up to locals that much, so maybe Arco doesn't have that much ban experience. I think Jay is a little bit less JC happy as well. So they're like he's like a Guile player. Alright, gets the force function on wake up. I think that I think that you can get a lot of success with force function, like if you mix up the partial charge force function with the icy force function. In general, I think it would be better if Arcto lent more on the really strong strike throw that Wagner has. Because if the only thing you can open people up with is force function, first of all, it against better players, they'll just block it. They can fuzzy block it, so it's not a huge problem. And the second thing is that it sort of telegraphs what your plans are on offense. Eventually you're gonna just try and go for a force function or something. So you can't really. You want to keep your options available, and then if you do a force function at a random point, as well as your strike throw, it makes the force function stronger, because then they won't be as ready to react or to fuzzy as they would if you consistently go for the force function as a mix-up option. Of course, you can melee with force function 14 times in a row with buff, and it won't stop for that no flash kicking. Alright. Got some Oki. Well, actually, no. This doesn't really need the Oki. Okay. I think that was faked, actually. Because they were in the middle of the 6xp animation, I think you could have DP'd there. You might have wanted to go for EXDP because it's faster. But, yeah. I think just a bit more patience from Arctor, and just making sure to keep the advantage, because they were getting the advantage, but just making sure to keep the advantage. Whoops, I entered that wrong. Make sure to keep the advantage when they have it is kind of important. Because, yeah, because Wagner's a really snowbally character, so if you don't get the snowball started, then you're gonna have trouble. That's what I'd say. Alright, we got Reseda versus Joker main. Got the bad design off. True, true, true. Bad game design. At least Laundrekia saved it. Maybe, I think maybe Laundrekia. Laundrekia is kind of designed around 1AD being in the game. So like, if 1AD is not in the game, it's kind of absurd. Yeah, so I think that generally you just don't want to go for Stand Shield on Wake Up. Especially like you don't want to go for Stand Shield very much anyway, but especially not on Wake Up, because your opponents are probably gonna like it's really likely for your opponent to go for a low on Wake Up. Not on Wake Up, on medium. So like you're gonna get group broken a lot there. And it's also pretty dangerous against Laundrekia because he has a lot of lows. He has a lot of lows and a lot of overheads and stuff, so you want to be pretty careful shielding against the character. Alright, it's okay. Some fireballs. Yes, we call that one footsie. I'm pretty sure I proceeded to a good route that killed there, but they kill a bit later anyway. I don't know that Joker main has actually. Whoops, that's the wrong person. I don't know that Joker main has ever played against Laundrekia. It's pretty rough to play against Laundrekia if you haven't played against before, because you just get owned by the records. I think. Alright. We got some neutral, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we're doing some stuff. Joker is not really DPing, so I think you do kind of want to flash kick as Q1 at least some of the time, because it's just so big. Even if it's kind of slow, it's like so big. You may as well just do it. Oh, Ice Rain gets sniped by 226 BB. That's very funny actually. Okay. Alright, he was listening to me probably. That was not the time you wanted to flash kick. But every other time is when you want to flash kick. Actually, both players were listening to me maybe. Because the one player baited the flash kick with the spacing, and the other player went for a flash kick. That's very funny. The new meta is keeping track of whether your opponent is listening to a stream. Wait for the commentator to give your opponent advice, and then directly counter that advice in the next interaction. It's actually Giga Brain. Alright. Yeah, I think in this matchup, you really kind of want to be zoning as Kuon. You don't want to be trying to like go in against Laundrekia, because Laundrekia buttons are pretty good. And while Kuon buttons are pretty good as well, like they're not, you know, they're not as good in the spaces that Laundrekia exists in. So he misses the punish. But yeah, like I think just like going for the... Oh, you got owned by the force function as well. Yeah, there's a big enough gap in between the two hits, but you have to like press. You have to buffer your punish. So you can. There's a pretty rare, it's like 20 frames or something, but you have to buffer your punish, otherwise you get owned by the follow-up. And you get owned by the wreckers. Let's go. Alright, there we go. Yeah. Frozen Bine's pretty slow. It was slower last version, but you can't really anti with it. It's not fast enough. I've literally never seen force function trade before this tournament. It's happened twice. It's insane. Alright. Zone. I think, yeah, just like do that kind of thing. We're good. Jokerman hanging in there. Ice cream comes out. I think in general, like, all the Londrekia players want to do ice cream, right? Nice, gets the punish. So, sometimes when you have 100 meter and it's round start, you just go, especially when the Londrekia player has 200 meter round start. Like, they're probably going to ice rain imminently. So you just want to block, is what I would recommend. I think that Rishida could be killed, but Jokerman, this is the 50-50 correctly. Yeah, I would say Rasida's going for too many DPs, I would say. It's kind of working out for them because people aren't ready to punish the gap, but yeah. You can't punish after the 2 hits. Well, you don't really, I think it's like minus, it's like pretty safe after the 2 hits. You want to punish between the 2 hits. Hardcore versus Reseda. How about that one? You're right. All right. Okay. The law match. Any lore enjoyers in the chat? All right. Why don't Londrekia and Wagner have like a unique intro? I mean, it was kind of unique. Like they both had different things, but why don't they have like a banter intro? It's like the Hyde and Seth have a banter intro. Do Gordo and Chaos have a banter intro? I feel like they don't. Yeah. Possible overhead. Nice. Catches the mash, so Aqua takes the first round. They do? Why didn't Wagner and Londrekia have one? I was like kind of banter, I suppose. Pretty sure Hyde and Seth do. I know, yeah. Ori has like banter intros with all of the Lick Price members, and then Hyde, Nakava. Makes sense. And then Amazuki randomly will stream, but it's fine. Unfortunately, guys, really. Yeah, so you can EX cancel the records on that hit. So you really should just be kind of blocking. The main thing to do there is just try and shield. Londrekia doesn't even interact with his throw behind Merc. He interacts with Arie, I think. Or at some point. He interacts with Lex, I know that. But they have like a Arie has like a quote at the end which is like, thanks for fighting me, but like you didn't have to be such a nice guy. You know, like this guy's like a nice guy, like he doesn't want to hurt the women. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Force function pretty good. Nice having a one button DP. Yeah, I think that, especially as it's really important to recognize against these DP happy players to like adapt to that and just like sit there and block the DP. You know, like you don't want to block the DP. It's like kind of boring, but you kind of have to do it. You know what I mean? And if you block it enough, eventually, you know, maybe they'll start matching or something. But you gotta do it, you know. And you gotta have a good DP punish combo, because then you make them regret their decision. Bonus points if the DP punish combo is really long. So like they have to sit there for like 10 hours. And on your like specific DP punish combo that you've lapped, you're like, man, why did I DP here? This is what you want. And then you start like throwing them on later. Throwing them on meaty, because they'll be like, they don't want to DP, right? Or you get like overhead or something. Because they'll be so like... There's some interesting force on here. So I'll say. I mean, I think in this matchup as Wagner, you probably do kind of want to be field buff. Yeah, I know. The Soul JC in FF is definitely one of the moves of all time, I would say. I think as Wagner, you kind of want to set up shield buff. You know, just send it. You don't want to try and play neutral into the 4C and the 5BB and the 2C and stuff. Like, it's just too good. You don't really have options to contest it. You just want to skip that. And then you want to just let him do his silly ice rain things and just like play safe. And yeah. But I think that once you get in, other than 5B, it's like pretty chill for Wagner. Because he's a 6-frame character, so you just press FF and you win. Yeah. And I do think that Arctor tends to go for like 214X into FF a lot, which is like, it's a good like FF is good, it's 0, but on some level you kind of have to like either go for the 214X so you can be plus, or take advantage of the fact that your opponents are respecting you and then just dash in. So there's 2 options. Where's my thing? Punchy versus Draco. I don't know that either of these players have played against the other character. That'd be funny. I am the DP person. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. If people aren't punishing it, you may as well. You know, you may as well. You're like, just think of it like you're teaching them to punish DP. You're like doing them a service. You're actually educational. You know what I mean? It's all for their benefit. How do you punish long DP? So it has 2 hits. So, okay, so it has 1 hit, and then they can reactivate it to do a 2nd hit. And you have to press a button in between the gap. So in the gap between the 2 hits. The gap is like 20 frames or something, so it's really long. So you can punish it with your DP starter, but you have to time it correctly. And I think that like for give example, I think Captain Sugar didn't manage to punish it on stream, or maybe off stream. No, I think it was on stream against Defiant. So like even good players will stuff this up sometimes. So it's just something you kind of have to go into the lab and practice. And also it's not throw invuln, so that's another thing. So like if your opponent's going for DP a lot and they're going for block but they're not going for mash, you can just like throw, and then maybe they'll want to mash or they'll go for a meaty throw check or something like that. So like it's not a good option for them to force function like on wake up, not on wake up, after CS. It's not a good option because you can just throw and beat both their mash and their DP. Okay. Yeah, I think in general Joker main is kind of just going in too much. When like, I think especially in this matchup, you probably want to stay or stay on the other side of the screen. Okay. You got some buttons. You're versing Floof next. Yeah. Get into the lab. Get in the lab, practice punishing the DP. Okay, I still don't know how to deal with Rekka. You kind of just have to block it. Like, you kind of just have to practice blocking it and then just block it. But most of the follow-ups are minus, except for the A follow-up. Except for the A follow-up, all the follow-ups on the third Rekka are minus as hell. So, which is, the A Rekka is the single hit low. But yeah, okay. Let's focus on this matchup. Okay, good shield on the pre-C. Get a reload. Unfortunately, I think that on Punchy's, Oki's not tight enough. So, they let their opponent play a bit too much. And I think that maybe they were trying to bait DP, which is like, you know, it's like reasonable, but I don't think the Joker main's really shown DP. So there's like, unless you have like a really good player read on them and think they're going to DP, you generally should just like wait for them to DP to show you that they know it's an option. Especially when they're doing like this all this like jump stuff on wake up. You kind of just want to, yeah. Especially when they've shown that they are jumping and wake up stuff. I think that going for throw as a meaty is a bad option because they're showing a lot of jumps, so you really want to meaty them to stop them from jumping or stop them from doing something silly on wake up. You only really want to throw someone as a meaty if they show that they're willing to block. But you can see a lot of the time that Joker main's kind of going for a lot of like jumps after Punchy presses like a bonnet. So I think that's probably like a... It's kind of tricky to punish that. I think the one thing that I saw some Elton players doing was like press FF. So like when these characters who have like really big these projectiles, like there for example, when the ring comes down, FF actually kills the projectiles. So you can like do ICFF cancel into a something. Nice deep, nice dive kick. I guess then the win. But yeah, I think that force function is probably a pretty good tool in this matchup. But I haven't really messed with it myself, so I don't know. Alright. I think there are actually a lot of Eltnum things. Like I think the 2-4C is really good. And this like there's probably a lot of Eltnum specific things which are really good in this matchup, like 2-4C and force function, probably 60C as well. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't block the alright, we're getting some, but I think the Joker main doesn't really have like all of their pressure sorted out. They are whipping 2B a lot. And I think that makes sense because they're generally like a gear or like regular fighting game players. They don't really necessarily have all the rebeats figured out. Very interesting 6B to get throw punish. Oh, punish it through. That's a super good. Okay, paint the combo. So some Oki. That Oki is definitely fade. Joker has played Melty, but not that much. So, I wouldn't be surprised they had struggled with WB specifically. They were a Akia 4 BC bot. I think. See, in scenarios like that, is a really good time to air throw as Altnums. Because they're not committed to a... You can see that they're not committed to a button yet. Because they don't have the red mist. So, basically jump air throw is like one of the fastest options that exists to anti-air with. So, they probably can't beat you if you air throw there. And you get full combo and you can side swap and all that. Pretty fun. And it looks really cool if you air throw. So that's a good reason to do it. Okay, cool. Doing combo. Yeah, I think Punch used to sit in the training mode for a bit and just practice like dealing with back tech. Like anything, back tech jump or something. Just like have the tech directions on random. It's kind of tricky for Outnum because you're not very plus, but it's probably a good thing to practice. That can be cool. All right. Got some 60C gaming. Unfortunately, dropped the comment the same way again. Okay, next Fortune C. I think there are much better Fortune C combos. 1500 is pretty low. Would like to see a CBO. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I do think with Kuon, I think you kind of do need to know all of the like nice footsies. All of the like pickups of stuff. Because a lot of his strengths are in the pickups of random moves. Like he can pick off of everything. So if you're not picking up of everything, you're not really taking advantage of his strengths. But I think that the pickups are not so hard, so I feel like there's like a couple of different buckets that you can choose. A couple of different pickups that work from everything. Because they made this character in UNI2, so the combo theory can't be that hard. Alright. Yeah, I think Punch is kind of getting owned by the double overhead. The I feel like Jokerman hasn't really done like float low, like empty float 2B, which is like a really good option. It's like really annoying, especially on net play. It's really annoying. People endlessly complain about it. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know how that combo works. I'm not sure. Okay. Just to confirm, unfortunately drops the like, continuation, which I think would have killed, but gets assault over the fire gunshot. Nice. Yeah, I think really gotta grind out the timing on the 2d6c combos. Because it is the same timing, so you don't really have a good excuse to not to drop the timing. Okay, good. Yeah, it's why you have to be a little bit careful. Because they can just like... Let's send firewalls at you. That's the Altman code. Well, there's a common player that can send firewalls. Going for the cheap stuff. That one is, I actually think that's reactable, but I think most people fuzzy block it. Once you see the teleport, there's like a high timing and a low timing, but it's pretty cheap. Especially when you're layering it with the other 2-on garbage. Okay, gets the frame chat with 2-2A. Not quite the most optimized combo, but we take those. For some reason, 2A loses to 2B after 2-2A. I don't know how that works, but I think Jokerman must have pressed really late. Oh, the one time when EXTQ would have killed, they didn't go for it. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, I was about to pog if that actually whip punched, but no. I think they must have wanted to assault. Or something. Happens to me. I definitely have had a lot of times when, well, it's just CS, but I've had a lot of times I've done 2-6B CS and got 2-6B IW. That happened to me a lot. But I think they made it happen less in this version of the game, so... Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing is that, like, Jokerman's gone for, like, the double overhead a lot, and Punchy keeps getting hit, so I think that it's good sometimes just take a little, like, step back and be like, what went wrong for me in the last interaction or so? Like, there's something you can do in, like, in a tournament setting, like, there's something you can do in between games. Like, you're allowed to sit there for some amount of time and just be like, I only need to figure out why I lost. That can be pretty good, especially if you're getting kind of owned by the same things. It's helpful to take a bit of a break. Ooh, I don't know why they went for Velox there. Cool. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it can be good to take a break. It's a bit hard to do it, especially if you find it hard to like identify patterns in the middle of the game. It can be a good thing to do. Yeah, I think Punchy's in a bit of trouble now. Ooh. This is where 2-on really excels, is in this kind of position. That's a DP, so that move there where he teleports behind you is actually really punchable. So it's like minus a lot. But Punchy's in a really bad spot. They had an opportunity to... Ooh. Unfortunately, stand shields the teleport low. Yeah. Jokerman managed to clutch it back with some good old-fashioned knowledge checks. Let's go. No one got me. Come players know that teleport low got you. But I think people mostly teleport high. Probably because people are trying to fuzzy block the low. So yeah. Alright, we're gonna run blue first receiver. And then... yeah. The final last 2 matches. Thanks for hosting, getting Strive burnout. Oh, you have no matches? Yeah. I think it's fun. It's good to see people around. You know. Aren't the Strive players up in arms? Aren't they getting another patch for Strive? I feel like the pot players are happy, right? Because they get the Caro back. But yeah, okay. We got the OCE. The flash kick catches the extended headbox of the 2B. Why do they even remove Para? Isn't it something about like being too hard? Because like nothing in Strive can be hard. obviously. They wanted to make the baby. Remember, they're making Strive be a baby game, so like if there's something which is even remotely hard, they want to remove it. That's why they added Gold Lewis, right? People who want to win without any effort. Alright, let's just stop playing it. Actually, it's my stream. I can flame Strive so much. Alright. We got some gaming. We got Assault JC. Unfortunately, that won the Assault JC off. Didn't win the 60 speed gem. I think they missed time in 60 speed. Because, like, FF should be really easy to safe jump because it's not really safe jump, but like do OC on because it's really slow. But you do have to miss time. You have to time the 60 speed right. That time they did it right. Okay, random present Vine works out, but unfortunately it was an air hit, so they probably needed a different combo. Alright, the ball is coming. It didn't even get there. The 660 came. Alright, Flip got up 1-0. Alright. Unfortunately drops the 2C route. Alright, we get some flash kicks. Let's go. The two serial DPers are against. Ice Rain is one of the moves of all time. Let's go. Alright, we got some fighting quotes neutral going on. I can't even give this one the neutral. Alright. Route. Unfortunately doesn't get to confirm. The force function into beta DP. Let's go. Unfortunately not a good DP punish, but it's alright. She got the 5B hit but didn't believe in it. Yeah, I think the receiver's pressure is a little linear. They're probably also not that used to rebates, so it's like yeah. Probably tricky for them. What are they doing? Alright, but yeah, it'd probably help if they're doing some of the really strong things, or a lot of the really easy strong things. Like, easy is not like a bad thing in this context. Like, you're doing like the really easy to execute strong things, which is what you should be doing. Especially the new player, but just in general, right? It's a good basic strategy to just do your really strong things. But it'd be good to layer it in with some like more standard uni pressure, I think. Especially this sort of thing, like if your opponents can block your wreckers, you start getting into trouble if you rely on them. Especially if your opponents know counterplay, which I don't think people in this bracket will know. In fact, I would expect people to not know it in this bracket. But yeah, I don't like the throw. Like when you're like doing a gold throw like that and you get a counter hit throw, like you should just press the button and you get more damage than the counter throw, than the gold throw, which does less damage than a regular throw. And if you are not right and they don't go for mash, then you don't give them a whole 30 frames to react to a gold throw animation. So this general is better option. Gets the punish, unfortunately only with 2A, but that should be enough to kill. Probe spend meter. You have to finish the combo though. Boss goes for... I think B flash kick would have killed. Just go for B flash kick. Alright, base the flash kick. I don't know that the snowballs, the 2-2x setups are really good in the mid screen, because I feel like that should just be able to backdash. Maybe it's kind of risky to backdash because they can press fireball, and then you kind of die. But like, if they're pressing fireball, then they're not pro mixing you, so I feel like it's like kind of bad. That'd be my opinion. But Rosita gets the win. Londrekia JC wins this time. I don't know if it was a JC though. Oh no. Okay. He went. Come on, you can't be going for a flash kick on wake up and then not cancelling the C drill. Like, come on, guys, please. Okay, get the throw punish, but it was a flash kick again. Come on. Alright, we got some zone going on. Okay, B flash kick this time. Ice rain through the fireball, but unfortunately, because there was no freeze buff, that's another A flash kick. I'm pretty sure it's an A flash kick. Okay, has the red missed? Doesn't be. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. Some classic ice range shenanigans. Unfortunately, Rosita doesn't wait for the flash kick to come back down, so doesn't get a proper combo. And missed basically the slot gets slightly, so now okay. Yeah. Flash kick. Yeah, interesting flash kick force function. I think it's probably actually a pretty good force function there. Because I think there's probably always a gap. But I suppose you're not so minus that force function would always punish. Yeah. Yeah, Cliff goes up. Well, Cliff goes to equalize the score to 2-2. Got one more game. Alright, we got some. Oh my god. Alright, we got some JC action. Okay, beat flash kick, yes. At least it was a reaction, so I'll allow it. Yeah, I'm not sure about spending all of your meter because I think if you spend 100 there, you're in throw range. So I think you would have been fine. Okay, it gets memed by the red mist because it was 4C, which means it's really disjoint. But can Assault see over the thing? Alright, blue. Wait, no, Receiver actually blocks. Okay. Oh my god. Oh no. They could actually have confirmed off of Hydroblading, but it's 2DC because blue was in the middle of Assault, so Reseda takes the win. Alright, with the final match, we're gonna run Arctor versus Punchy. Okay. Cool. They play each other quite a bit, I think. So, see how it goes. Okay. Fortunately, he drops the combo, but Punchy goes for a stand shield on wake up. And misses the fuzzy block timing after 2-6A, so takes a quick win, but okay, yeah, I think that Eldon probably doesn't have to be too afraid of FF on block because she has such good buttons in those ranges that you're generally kind of chilling, you know. You're at least trading. Okay, good miss. Yeah, so dive kicks like that in this game are generally minus. Even the IC dive kick is 0. So you need to be using J2 on Foray if you want to be blasting, and it's like not that fast. Okay. Punchy blocking high, I think. Yeah. Be really careful. Still takes the win. Okay. Arcton mistimes the throw. Okay. Ambitious force function on wake up. I don't know if that was intentional. So you shouldn't respect the icy shield bash at that range because it's not plus. Generally, they have to be really far away for icy shield bash to be plus. You might have that like ground bounce thing, but you'll generally be like minus just a little bit. I think. No problem, Reseda. I think that Punchy's maybe being Like, there are some times where I think that Punch is being maybe a little bit too respectful. It's probably better as a new player to be too respectful than too active, because at least you can nice, but I think you'd kill that. It's better to be too respectful than too aggressive, because it's easier to build the aggression back in than it is to take it out, I think. But it does mean that if your opponents are giving you chances, you do need to take the chances, is what I would say. Okay, good. Alright. Yeah. I'm not particularly great at Rush with Rush matchups myself, so you know, I'm not the best at this sort of kind of play. That the dive is pretty minus, so I think the 2C probably punishes. Or maybe 5B. But it's kind of a weird space. But I think the trick with the rushdown matchups, I think, is that you have to be like aggressive enough that you get in more than your opponent does, but not too aggressive that your opponent's like neutral tools kill you. So you have to like thread that needle, I think. And I'm not good at threading the needle because I normally play like neutral characters, neutral based characters, so I try and play too defensively against rushdowns. But it's kind of important. Yeah, I think the Punchy must have misinput CS. It's kind of tricky. But yeah. Alright, after going up 2-0. Star first to 3. Alright. Okay. 6B. We got 6B. Okay, base DP. I think that was probably unintentional, but you know what I mean? You take it. Fortunately, must have missed the CS on wake up as well. Yeah, so in this game, air tech, you have a very short buffer. So actually CSing after you air tech is really hard, which I think that Punchy was getting caught by. So even like even I, or like, you know, like I will screw up tech CSing after air tech sometimes, because the buffer is really that small, you know. So like on some level you may even just want to avoid CSing after air tech. Or something I also do sometimes is that when you plan to CS, you can intentionally wait until you ground tech, which I'll do anyway as like a varying your tech options, but it can be good if you're having trouble CSing after air tech, just to wait until you hit the ground. But yeah, but that's like why you might struggle. Again, people are not interrupting after 2-2A, so the single gunshot down from Eltnam is minus on block. It's -1. So you shouldn't be letting them get away with 2B. You should be taking your turn. If you're a 6-frame character, it's kind of tricky, but okay. Nice. Once he puts one on the board. Yeah. All right. Nice 2B. Alright. Yeah, yeah. I think that given that Punchy has shown some counterplay to the force function, I think now is probably a good time for Arctor to start trying to mix in like maybe just space 56A into no cancel. Or yeah, just like not going for 2-on-4A. That's what I would say. Okay. Bit of footsies. Arctor catches the man. I'm in the cycle here, but I think that was a misinput. The backdash was almost dangerous and lost in the cycle, but they were a bit lucky. Okay, respect plus 11. That, oh no, that was shield up, right? So they did have respect there. Yeah, you just have to keep blocking. Yeah. So I don't like that DP because if you get hit by a DP punish there, then you actually instantly lose. Whereas if you lose a set, right? Whereas Arctor, if he gets hit by the DP, even 41C, he's still in a winning position. So actually, it's like really bad to go for a DP there, I think. You kind of have to sometimes do it because otherwise people will just like throw you. But you should be really careful about DPing in those spots, and you should only do it if because it's like the most obvious point for you to DP is right when you're gonna lose. So unless your opponent shows that they're gonna try and play on a higher level, you should probably try and not DP in these really obvious spots, because otherwise you're just gonna get baited over and over and over again. But yeah, okay. Good play from everyone involved. And I'll go to the other screen. Okay. That screen. There we go. So, in first place, we have Reseda with 4-0. I think, did they lose any games? Oh, they lost some to Floof, right? Yeah, okay. The Wreckers and the force function is too strong. And then we got Floof in 3-1. That's good. I think they only lost to Reseda. That's how maths works. True. And then Arctor in 3rd place. Okay. Yeah, I think we've seen Arctor kind of improve over the past couple of tournaments. And we got Jokerman in 4th. It's nice seeing you kind of player. And then we got Punchy in 5th. But I think they were definitely cooking, so just got to tighten some stuff up. Especially, I think in this this Jokerman vs Punchy set could have gone either way, so I could have flipped the 4th and 5th. All right. Yeah. That's not what I wanted. Okay. See if there's anyone to raid. We could raid NOL Academy. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Oops. There we go. Cool. Hope to see you guys next time. Yeah, hopefully next time in 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. It should get there in 2 weeks. Should be around in 2 weeks. When I'm in US, it'll be difficult, but we'll see what happens then. All right. See you guys next time.